Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Maria and welcome to the part 2 episode of the basic Excel functions tutorial. Now, if you missed part 1, I'm going to be leaving down below the link for part 1 so you also watch it. And if you haven't watched my beginners videos, I'm also going to be leaving them linked down below for you to watch. Now, don't forget to like this video, comment, and share so others can also learn a little bit more about Excel. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with the video. One hands-on example to kind of show you how you can use all these functions together to kind of get more insights on a subject or more insights on really anything that you kind of wanted to apply. So right here, I have a list of expenses from January to June: house, vehicle, food, medical, other expenses. So these are just random numbers that I put together, but I just kind of want to show you how you can use these functions on a simple spreadsheet like this one. Now, I have this spreadsheet for you. It's a income/expense tracker. So I have a bunch of expenses listed: house expenses, vehicle expenses, food, medical, and other. And I have filled these with random numbers to kind of give you an idea of how you can use these functions on a simple spreadsheet like this one. Now let's start with the sum function. Let's say I want to total each month's expenses. Well, this is very simple. I'm just gonna start writing the equal sign, type down sum, and I'm gonna click and drag because that's the quickest way to do it instead of adding the commas, and then here hit enter. Now this is totaling that column for January. If I want to do the same in February, I can, again go ahead and click down the sum function, or a quicker way, it's clicking on the lower right hand corner where you see that plus button, clicking and dragging. It would automatically compute the same function. Now, if you want to check that this is also adding, you can double click here and it's going to highlight what it's summing up. See how it went from this one summing up this column to, summing this column on the February one. So this is something that Excel does automatically. You just have to drag it out. Now, let's say that I want to know the average of each expense so far within these months. Well, again, this is very easy. I'm gonna go here, average, click on my function, and I'm gonna select and drag and click enter here. Now, because all these are the same, of course the average is gonna be 1,500. Let's say that I want to know what are the average figures that I'm getting for each individual item. I am going to again click here in the bottom right corner and drag down. Now we're gonna have a few errors like this ones because of course there aren't any values over on these cells, so you can just go ahead and delete these out and it shouldn't really impact anything else. And of course here we see what are the average values for these guys. And this will really give me an insight of how much I am spending on average. Now let's say that I want this actual column to be named expense tracker average or expense average, whatever you want. Then we can go ahead and use our concatenate function here. And we can go equal concatenate, and then I'm gonna go click average, comma, expense, close and click. I'm gonna add my space here that I forgot to kind of have it all nice, and I'm gonna go wrap text here so it shows out like that and it's not cut off. Then do you see how quickly that is and how quickly we can convert something into what we want using Excel functions? So we have gone over this one right here and we have gone over these two functions. Now, how about the if statement? Want to know if my expenses are within my set budget. So let's say that I have here an income of $5,000 a month, and I want to know if with all this stuff I have enough money each month. Well, I coded up a quick formula to know. So I want to check if C28. So what is C28? C28 is this value right here for January, the $4,921. So if this value it's less or equal than B1, so less than or equal than $5,000, then am I within budget? Yes. Else, if this does not hold true, then it's gonna input no, right? Because my expenses are larger than my income, than my earnings. So then I wanna know I'm not within budget. So this is just a quick way to find that out. So yeah, I went ahead and coded that formula, and it would automatically show me if I am within budget. Now, if you're wondering what these dollar signs do, well, these dollar signs will hold the value that you're setting on B1. So when you drag this formula towards these cells, this B value is not gonna move. So let me show you, let me do less talking and more explaining. So if I erase that dollar sign, of course, for this one, it would still be correct because it will still give me that specified value. But if I drag it towards the other ones, then they're gonna say no. And then you're gonna ask yourself, well, $4,822 is for sure less than $5,000. What's going on? There must be an error. So you can double click on that cell to kind of see what's going on. And something that I really like is that Excel automatically highlights the cells that you're looking. Here you're comparing this $4,822 with C1. So why C1? Because when you drag this out, if you don't lock that B1 down with the dollar signs, then Excel will automatically think that this value will also change, and it will also change towards the right. So if we don't want that to happen, then we can write down B1, which is the cell that we want to compare it with, and then add our dollar value signs on each side of the letter B. And then when we hit enter, it would compute it. Now we can drag this formula out, and then if we check this one here, we still can check that we still know that it's comparing this value to B1, which is what we want. So then we know if we are or we aren't within budget with a simple if statement. Now, as I explained before, if statements can be used on a variety of things. This is just a quick sample, but really you can get very technical. You can get a lot more out of these statements. Now, let's say that I want to find out what's my highest expense in the month of June. Well, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna write down max. And let's say that I wanna know what's my highest expense, and then I go click hit, and then I see that it's $1,500. And if I quickly have a look here, I can quickly identify that that's the mortgage payment. Now let's say that I want to know what the min expense or the cheapest expense is. I can quickly use the min function here to find that out. So I click here, click enter, and $0 because we didn't pay anything for toiletries that day. But let's say that this was $90, just for the sake of having a number. Let's say that we spent money on every single thing, then it's gonna be showing me that my smallest expense was $10, which was hobby's expense, so whatever that is. So again, another simple way to quickly find out data that you may be looking for. With the and statement, let's check here if we have spent less than $40 in the month of June and May for gas. So we're gonna check here if that's true. We can go equal and our and function, and our first logical test will be going towards the June gas, which would be H13. So if this is less than $40 that we want, and this is less than $40, then we want to know if this is true. And here we know it's false. Now this is just a quick way to check these out. I find that I often use just and statements embedded in if statements just to kind of have two logical tests going on. So again, this is just a very quick, easy example, really over the top to kind of give you an idea of how to use these really easy functions on a basic spreadsheet, and you can totally upscale this into much larger spreadsheets, much larger needs in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this information really useful, and I will see you on the next Excel tutorial. Until the next one, bye!